All right, we're good. We're recording. We are solid. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Corinne. I saw that earlier. Thank you for saying good morning. Hope you guys are doing well today. I'm going to bring that screen up like I love to do. Happy Thursday. Welcome to part 3 now of part 4. Last week, if you guys were on, we had kind of out of the blue decided we're going to do a 4th session next week Thursday, same time, same place, I guess. Talking about video and stuff. So yeah, today is part 3 of 4. As usual, it's going to be recorded. It's going to be uploaded probably this morning, actually. I probably should have time to do it this morning. So welcome to part 3. Today we're talking about... I already turned my notifications off. I could have sworn. Now it's going to be loud. Today we're talking about ads. We're going to talk about ads manager. We're going to talk about boosting posts, what the difference is, sort of the ideas behind that, and that whole sort of topic. So as usual, if you guys have any questions at any point, just write it into the box and I will answer it to the best of my abilities, which is not always all that great. One thing I do want to show you guys quick that a thing that will come in handy, especially once you start doing ads and start kind of messing around with business pages, is, I mean, turn this off so you can see my screen now. If you go to facebook.com/help, and just write that down somewhere, facebook.com/help is exactly what it sounds like. It's basically the beginning of their support section. So, I mean, you can see here, you can have questions here, policies, privacy and safety, using Facebook. But if you scroll down a little bit, there are 2 other sections down here that are really helpful. One is the help community, and this is where basically other people will pose questions that you might have similar questions to. You can see here posted comments on stuff that I have posed before, meaning, hey, I'm having this problem too, or hey, this is a fix that I did. This is basically, instead of trying to go through the whole corporate support thing and getting frustrated, sometimes you can go through this way. And you can see, if I scroll down a little, or kind of zoom in a bit, you can see a lot of these seen by 3,000 people, seen by 12,000 people, 900 answers. So it's a good place to go. And oftentimes, if you try to actually contact support, they will direct you here first and say, have you tried checking the support community yet? So it's just a good place to go to see what they have and see if other people are having your issues and how they fixed it. Additionally, if you click on Visit Ads Help Center on the other side of it, this is where you'll go for, more specific support on your business page. You can see, build your page, create Facebook ads. You can get more. This is more like ad-centric help. The other page, just the help center, can be more of anything. Some of the questions are like, why can't why isn't my like button working? Why can't I comment on my friend's posts or in groups or whatever? This is more ad specific. Now, from here, you can talk about business pages. You can see all of the sections they have. But from here, if you click support in the upper right hand corner, and please don't let me down Facebook, even though you do 9 times out of 10. Okay. Facebook.com/business/resources. This is where you can do, this is basically what we were just looking at, but the nice thing is if you scroll down here, this is where you can do 3 things. Ask community, email them, and do a Facebook chat with a support staff. Overall, I have had a lot of successes and a lot of issues with Facebook support. Sometimes those 3 buttons that we were just looking at, sometimes they're there, sometimes they would go away. Basically, my understanding from the brand, from Coldwell Banker, the brand, is that they were just understaffed for a long time and basically took their support away, which is ridiculous when you're the biggest company, one of the biggest companies in the world, and you're online and you don't have a support system. I think the idea was, okay, too many people are writing into support for really simple issues. It's like a weird, squeaky sound. There's a graveyard right outside that window, so it's kind of weird sometimes. A little haunted. What was I talking about? Yeah, support. Some people would write in with issues that they shouldn't really be asking support about. They could troubleshoot themselves or figure out. But at the same time, there are a lot of issues that we do need support for. I remember one time I had an issue where I had an agent whose business page could not be tagged anywhere. I had another agent who, she had a username, she had everything set up. Another agent who could not post from her page. Was it posting? Oh no, she couldn't see any analytics. She could run an ad, but no analytics anywhere on her page. If she added me as an admin and I could see all the analytics, but her from the account she created the business page couldn't see it. So we had to talk with email support, go back and forth, do a couple phone calls, and they actually had to have somebody recode her business page for her. It was like a really specific issue. But we figured it out. So I checked pretty recently, and these 3 buttons are here now. I mean, I'm talking like within the past week. You can see them. Ask Community, Email, and Chat. The chat is just like any live support thing that you would normally do. Email is like, it's email. Makes pretty sense. Makes your business resources page looks different, Chris. Honestly, that doesn't surprise me at all, just because of how weird Facebook is. You can maybe send me a screenshot later, but the link, yeah, is facebook.com/business/resources. The one thing I will say is, see, that's exactly my point, Chris. I see only has Ask Community. I don't know why these ones are here for me. I don't know why they're not there for you. They've disappeared for me before. Maybe it's just like a time circle. Maybe it's you have to spend a certain amount on ads. I really have no idea, and Facebook does not share that stuff, which is frustrating. If you ever go here and you do have these buttons, as easy as it is to go in and try to email them, I really would recommend asking the community, checking the questions that are already here, and seeing if you can't find an answer before going to support, because that's arguably one of the ways you might lose those privileges is by just going to them without trying to figure it out. So I would recommend trying to figure out beforehand. I'm going to turn off that stuff. But I just want you guys to know that this is here. This advertising support is here. It's very useful. I'd say the majority of the questions you have will have been answered at some point on here. So check it out if you ever need support. And of course, I'm here too, right? I'm here for support as well. So we're going to talk about ads. So on a big scale, Facebook does 2 things from a marketing perspective. One is that it keeps you in. It's always weird. I want to look at myself on the screen, but then I'm not looking at you guys, which is through the camera. So I got to look at the camera. One of them is it keeps you in touch with your sphere. So that's just like posting every day, right? Posting a new video, sharing content locally, sharing a photo, sharing new listings. Anything that you post goes out to your fans on your business page, or if you share that to your personal page, sort of same deal. So that's kind of one of the nice things. I always say, like, if you post every day to your business page, it's sort of the equivalent of sending out a mailer every day. As long as the post is engaging, as long as the content is interesting and people interact with it, you're getting in front of your sphere every day. You're staying top of mind. You are helping them remember that you're here, right? The other thing that it does is it can help drive new clients and new business to your page. And that is through ads. That is through advertising, through Ads Manager, business, all that stuff we're going to look at today, and try to swim through, because that stuff can be kind of confusing. But those are the 2 purposes, right? So staying in front of your sphere, which is totally free, and you can run a successful business page for free in theory. It's a lot harder than it used to be, and the spending, that side of it is incredibly powerful. But I mean, you can over time grow your page. It's going to be a slow build, and it's probably not going to be new clients. So what we're going to focus on today are the ads part of it. Now, these ads are basically, instead of just, if you look at my business page here, if I kind of zoom in a little bit, and again, this is my test page, so don't go here like everyone does. You can see this page has 68 likes on it, on the sort of right side of my big face down here. 68 likes. That means that there are 68 fans on this page. So every time I post something, those 68 people have the opportunity to see that post. But that's basically it. So unless those 68 people, or some of them, share my post, they think it's interesting, they think it's worth sharing with their friends and family, unless they share it, that's the limit of my post, those 68 people. If they share it, then their friends will see it, or their friends of friends will see it. I have a couple of videos on my personal page that I posted that I only have 600 or 700 friends on Facebook, but my videos have like a little over 1,000 views because people shared them. And I always say that sharing is the most powerful method of advertising on Facebook, because people are basically advertising you for free. They're sharing content with your name attached to it, and if it's a video, with you in the video, without you spending a dime, getting it in front of, and it's in a weird way, it's a referral. because if I see something that my friend shared on Facebook, if I like that person, I kind of have I already trust their word more than just some random ad on Facebook. If someone shares something and I see, Jeanette shared JD Waldvogel Realtor's post, I might go, oh, Jeanette likes him or she's worked with him before. Maybe or that's already that trust there. It's the same, if as a music person, if a friend recommends a band to me, I'm way more likely to listen to that band than I would be if some random person off the street ran up to me and told me, you gotta listen to Bare Naked Ladies. So it's free referrals is what it is. But shares are also the hardest thing to get because you're basically asking people to vouch for you, to stand up for you, to advertise to you for free. And that's where the value comes in. And again, we've talked about that before, the value in the content, and we'll talk about that with video next week as well. But so sharing is the most powerful, it's just the most difficult to get people to do. Now, when you're doing ads, whether you're doing boosted posts, which we'll look at first, or whether you're doing ads manager, what you're doing is creating an audience outside of the people on your page to advertise to. So you're picking demographics, you're picking location and age and all that sort of, all those targeted areas, and then you're putting your ads in front of those people. How you determine who you're targeting is up to a bunch of things, right? What is it you're trying to advertise? Is it a high-end luxury home? Is it just a generic video? Is it, whatever it is? But those are the main differences, right? So when you're posting, you're kind of getting in touch with your sphere. When you're doing ads, you're trying to get after new business, new clients. Now, I'm sure I've said this before in this series, but I want to make this very clear. Just doing one Facebook ad is not going to get you success. Consistency in marketing is key across the board. That's not just a Facebook thing. That's an everyday thing, or every medium thing. An example I always share is I had one agent in one of our offices a little bit north of me come to me last July. So I'd been in the company for about 9 months since September, and he said, I'm done doing Facebook ads, they don't work. And I said, okay, let's do a breakdown, let's see why. He had done 3 ads, 3 days each, so 3 3-day ads for $10, $15 over the course of 9 months. So he had basically advertised 1 day a month for 9 months straight. If you do that in any medium of marketing, you're not going to have any success. If I see your ad once, that doesn't mean anything to me. Consistency is what makes it work. The people who I've seen have success with Facebook ads are the ones who do it consistently. I'm going to try. I don't know why the screen would be frozen, Corinne. It should just be. Can you guys not see? You've got to be kidding me. Show. Hold on. Can you guys see me right now talking? Okay, good. Sorry, Brian, I got worried there for a second. Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because it's not showing on my screen, so I got confused for a second. So we're going to dive into the ad stuff, and what I want to make sure is I don't want to focus too much on, like, the value and the content like we did last week. I want to focus more on, like, the technical aspects of it, just because I could talk about the value thing all day long and what kind of stuff you should be boosting and the consistency and all that stuff. But the key thing here is that a lot of agents, when we talk about Facebook, they kind of have this idea that it's like a magic fairy dust, right? Like you do a Facebook ad, you're going to get new listings. You do a listing to leads link, you're going to get 30 new clients and you're going to have a great year. Now, there are cases where that happens all the time. I had one agent in Holland in December, I think, maybe it was January or something, post a listing he had to Facebook, made a little slideshow video of it, 22,000 views in less than a week. That was insane. It was a cool listing. It was like 300 some, so it wasn't insanely expensive. It was a cool listing, good price. It was just, kind of like the exception to the rule, or like the unicorn sort of post where it was just really cool. But that doesn't happen all that often. You don't just put an ad out there and get business. What works is the consistency. So I had this happen yesterday when literally yesterday I was sitting with Melissa and another agent. Melissa's one of our awesome designers here and for the Schmidt family. But we were sitting with an agent and he was saying that the ads that the business that he gets from Facebook is from people who always say, I keep seeing your stuff. Oh, I keep seeing your posts that you and your wife do because they're a team. I keep seeing, right? That's the success. It's the consistency and the value. So all that said, we're going to dive into the technical aspect of it. Now, there are 2 ways to do ads on Facebook. One is through your business page, which is normally boosted posts. It's kind of like the way you boost a post is what people talk about. The other way is ads and business manager. Ads manager, business manager, it's the same thing, it's different. They both accomplish the same task. Now, a lot of people argue that boosting posts is not nearly as effective as ads manager and business manager. There can be some truth to that, but I am on the side that boosting posts is still very effective and not a waste of money as long as you know what you're doing with your posts. I think it's, a lot of this stuff comes down to not the advertising method, but the marketing piece itself. How valuable is the content? How funny or interesting or useful or informative is this content? It's not about if you boosted it or if you did the ads manager. It's about how good is your ad. To me is what it comes down to. So again, that's my opinion on this. I've been doing this for 5 or 6 years, and that's kind of where I'd say 5, not 6. That's what I've seen work in real estate, in entertainment, and in a lot of what I've done. But a lot of people will tell you that ads manager is the only way to do it, and that's fine. That's their opinion. I don't disagree necessarily. I do disagree. I don't think that they're dumb. I just think that I have seen success with boosted posts. And it's easier. So I'm going to show you both, and then we're going to kind of talk about more of the pros and cons after, okay? So we're going to start with a boosted post. Let's go back to the main screen now. Okay, I'm on my test page here, right? JDW Real Estate. The idea of boosting a post is that basically your ad, the thing that's going to go out in front of people, is your post. So for example, this post right here. We just got a new puppy 11 days ago. Some of these tips have been super helpful. If I click, let me exit that. If I click Boost Post, and you'll see Boost Post right beneath it. If I click it, that is my ad now. You'll see on the right hand side, that is the ad. Now, a couple things quick. Most post formats are boostable. Photos, videos, articles, things like that. However, some formats are not boostable. You'll see this one here, for example. I cannot boost that I updated my cover photo. That's just not something that does well, and that's not something Facebook allows. So if I hover over it, boost unavailable. You can create a promotion using your current cover photo to get more likes, but you can't just boost the cover photo. So just, you'll see that sometimes. Another one that you can't boost for whatever reason are photo albums. So if I were to go up here and like photo video, create photo album, and do something that way, I could not boost that. But I could boost a group of photos if I uploaded 4 or 5 this way. It's little things like that that get kind of confusing, but basically if you can't boost something, Facebook will tell you. It'll say boost unavailable, or it'll say boost post. So, whenever you click boost post, this is the bubble that pops up. Whoops, that's way too big. Let me just zoom in like this a little bit. Whenever you get to this bubble, the right-hand side will always be what your ad is going to look like. The left-hand side will be where you do all of the work. So, one other important thing about this right-hand side over here, it kind of defaults to desktop newsfeed, which is great, but if you click mobile newsfeed, this will show you what your ad's going to look like on somebody's phone, and this is infinitely more important than desktop newsfeed because 87% of people who use Facebook use it on their phones. So always make sure to check your ad on the mobile newsfeed part. Now, if you ever notice a mistake here, if you're looking at your ad and you see I spelled puppy wrong, or you wanted to add some exclamation points or emojis or something like that, you have to click cancel promotion, and then edit it from here because the post is the ad. So I'm going to click edit just to show you. Click these 3 dots right here, click edit post. One other thing I want to show you guys, if I do paste, paste, paste. Right, so first of all, I would never actually do all of that as an ad, but I want to show you another thing. If I click boost post, and again, I click on mobile, you'll notice that it says ... more here. The ad kind of trails off. This is a really important thing to always check before you post anything because you should not make me work to see your ad. Your ad should be, everything that you want me to see or read should be right there in front of me. I should not have to click more to read your ad. You know what I mean? Like, there's no I guess the way I always phrase it is like, if I see your ad on Facebook, I owe you nothing. It's up to you to get me interested in your product, your service, your personality, any of those things. So if your ad says click here to read more, and you're telling me, hey, I want to advertise to you, click here to read everything, I'm not going to do that. Especially if I don't care. I might if I'm interested, but you're trying to interest me in the first place. So it's one of those kind of situations. So always make sure you check the mobile newsfeed, and if it says more, that means you wrote too much text, cancel promotion, come back and edit this and make sure that it's not too much. Now you'll see that you'll notice that it probably showed 2 to 2.5 of the same line over and over. So this is not like the maximum length here. You can type more than this. But the nice thing here is that you can see everything I wrote, right? So boom, 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 blah, blah, blah. All right. So that's the right-hand side. The left-hand side is what we're going to look at now. This is actually creating the ad. This is the confusing part, the difficult part, the stuff that people get overwhelmed with, okay? Side note, if you guys were on here last week, we talked a lot about that Bones Coffee brand as an example. 3 pounds of their stuff came in the mail earlier this week. I bought it. They didn't just give it to me. And it is just awesome. This is French toast coffee right now, and it is just to die for. Just wanted to share that because you guys would get it. So, all right. Left-hand side, objective. So we're going to go through this process. Now, every part of this is here for a reason. So don't just skip over one of these parts. The more you do this, the better you will get at it, and the more it'll make sense to you. But don't ever just skip a part, okay? So objective. What results would you like from this post? Before you ever do an ad, I always say there are 3 questions you should ask yourself. What is your goal? What does success look like? And who are you trying to reach? So the first thing, what is your goal? What are you trying to achieve with this ad? Are you just trying to get your name out there more? Are you trying to get people to recognize your face, to share valuable information? Do you have an open house? Are you trying to get people to visit the open house? Check out your new listing. You know, what is your goal? It does not need to be, I want 700 people to see this post. It doesn't need to be specific like that, but you need to know what goal you're trying to achieve. I have too many agents who try to do Facebook stuff, and there was one in here yesterday morning with me who they know that Facebook is a form of marketing that's powerful and effective, but they don't put any thought or time into the ads that they do. Even after telling them, put some thought and time into this, right? They put the ad on Facebook, they go to boost, they click $30, they boost, and then they put the ad out there. And then the ad doesn't work, and they go, well, why didn't that work? I go, well, look at what your ad says. It says new listing, click below to see more. That's it, right? So make sure your ad is interesting or helpful or informative or funny or anything, right? Like, you need to have some sort of goal. Then the next question is, what does success look like? Again, could be pretty vague, could be pretty specific. So if I have an open house on a Thursday night and I'm doing an ad for it, my goal is I want people to come to the open house. Success would look like 3-4 couples came to the open house from my Facebook ad, right? Goal, success. Success could be I want my page to grow. I want to get 20 new likes in July or something like that. I want my videos to get 2,000 views. You know, I want to create a regular series that people start to tune in for. Those are all objectives and successes. The third question is, who do you want to reach? Who's your audience? And that's the part that Facebook takes care of that we're going to go into. But with a post like this, you know, just an article, my objective here that they give me is website visits. I want people to click on this link, right? Now, I can change this. They give you a couple options here. One of them is engagement. So people just reacting, commenting, and sharing. You just want people to interact with your post. Now, in my experience and with the case studies I've read, this is not the most effective objective. Effective objective, good band name. Engagement is not a good one to go with. So I always would prefer website visits. The third one is messages. Engage and chat with potential customers. And there will be like a message me now button that would appear at the bottom of your post. This isn't necessarily a bad method at all, but it doesn't really fit with the goal of my ad. The goal of my ad is just to share useful information and to have people see me as a useful resource. And me just sharing these tips is not really asking for messages. Now, if I were doing a new listing, or if I said, hey, I'm going to start a new series on real estate. Do you guys have any questions? Send me a message. And then I said, click here to send message. That might be different. But what is wrong with me today? For the sake of this post, we're going to do website visits, which is a good objective. The next thing they ask you is post button. Now this says optional. Add a button to your post. If I click this, it defaults to learn more, but I have a whole bunch of options here. Shop now, book now, learn more, sign up, get directions, send message, and send WhatsApp message. Now, you'll notice right over here, you'll see that learn more button. If I click no button, it just goes away. There's no button there anymore. Now, normally when I talk about this, I always ask people, has anybody here ever watched a YouTube video? And the answer is yes. For everybody on this call, I'm sure you've all watched a video on YouTube at some point. And if you have, you've probably heard YouTubers at the end of a video say, thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any more questions and share with your friends. Otherwise, have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. If you stuff like that, like and subscribe. You always give a call to action. That's exactly what this is. This is a call to action. The idea here, and it's a little bit of pseudo-psychological marketing, is that you might be my favorite YouTuber in the world, my favorite digital specialist in the world, my favorite realtor in the world. But if you don't tell me what I need to do to help you, I'm not going to do it. If liking your videos or subscribing is what gets you the most, success or help or views or whatever, you need to tell me to do that, and then I will do that. A lot of people, especially when it comes to online stuff, they don't know what they have to do to help or what they need to do to take action on something, and so they don't do it. So having a post button is always more powerful than not having one. Telling somebody, click here to learn more, is, even if it's a little thing like literally like learn more, it's more powerful and gets more clicks generally than just having a blank. Even if you say click here, click below for more options, or to click below to read more. If I add a button that says learn more here, it's still going to take you to the same article. It's still going to, if you click here, if you click here, if you click here, it's all going to take you to the same place. In an earlier class, you said you wanted to use the engagement or the website choices. It sounds like with boosted posts, you really want to talk about that. You want to click on website visits, Chris. I don't remember. Really want to use the website visits. Correct. Yes. Exactly. So the short answer to your question, Chris, is yes. Website visits is what you want to go with, because I know I'm using like an article here as an example, but let's say I was posting a new listing. If I were posting a new listing, my goal would be to get people to click and look at my listing. I want people to see my listing, potential buyers to see it, other agents to see it for their, their clients. So yeah, most of the time if you're sharing an article or a link, and most of the time if you're sharing a link to anywhere else, you're going to want to do website visits. So let's move on. Okay, so always include a post button. The next part, and the part that is the most daunting, is the audience. This is where you are going to pick and choose who your ad is targeted to. Now, the first time you do this, you have to create your audience, and you can create as many audiences as you want. However, once you've created an audience, Facebook will save it for you. So if I go in and I want to do my, my Vineyard Ridge audience, I just click on it, go back to my budget duration, and move on from there. So audiences will be saved for you as you go, but you will need to, you will create new audiences. You can create new audiences as you go as well. So I'm going to click create new audience for the sake of it, right? And we'll do St. Croix test audience. So I have a name. That name is only for me. Nobody else sees that. It's just for my organizational purposes. So I could name it high net worth audience, luxury home audience, first time home buyer audience, anything like that. The only thing that you need to be aware of as far as targeting rules go, and there's another thing actually later, but is fair housing laws, fair housing rules. So I don't know if St. Croix is too much different from the U.S., but there are certain protected classes, right? You can't discriminate against sex, race, sexuality, handicapped people, anything like that. There are protected classes. You cannot target those classes or exclude those classes. I will make sure to include this. I'll send this to Corinne to send out. But the brand recently on CB Exchange, and forgive me, I always forget if CB Exchange is one of the ones that you guys have, uploaded a document called Facebook Ad Policies Relevant to Real Estate. It's just a little 6-page PDF that kind of shows, 6 or 7 maybe, that goes over certain real estate things for Facebook. And one of them, let me find it quick that we're talking about, is discriminatory practices policy. Basically, the two things it says here, and I'll read it to you because I think it's backwards, is that it says, when building audience targeting for ads, do not use audience selections to 1. Wrongfully target specific groups of people for advertising, and 2, wrongfully exclude specific groups of people for advertising. So sometimes this goes without saying. It's common sense, right? But at the same time, I say it because not everybody has common sense. So we're going to go through these topics, and that's the thing you got to keep in mind. Don't target or untarget people or exclude people. So gender, what did we just talk about? All. Age, what age range do you want to target to? Now, you can go from 13 all the way up to 65 plus. The question starts to become, who is going to be the most effective audience for you? Now, a lot of this kind of audience stuff will become guesswork, right? Or conjecture or educated guesses. So if I'm listing a home for $180,000 or $160,000, that's probably a first-time home buyer's home, but it could also be just a couple who are looking to downsize. Maybe it could be kind of anything in between. So if it was first-time home buyers, I might say 24. Now, are there with all of these targeting things, there are always exceptions. I bought my home at 22. I've heard of people who've bought homes at 18. That's awesome. And that doesn't, not to deny that, but at the same time, just because somebody has bought a home at 18, does that mean you should spend your money targeting 18-year-olds because they all buy homes? No. I heard a story from an agent once about their client's high school son, like 15 or 16-year-old, saw a home on Facebook, showed their parents it. Parents contacted an agent, ended up buying that home. That's I actually quite like that story. Does that mean I should spend my marketing budget targeting 16, 15-year-olds in hopes that they show their parents? No. It's normally the exception to the rule. What Facebook... Someone's playing loud music out there. What Facebook marketing is, it's targeted marketing. It is not mass marketing. Instead of trying to get the most people to your ad, you are trying to get the right people to see your ad. So when I'm thinking about first-time home buyers, I'm thinking 23, 24, maybe 25 is a good point. I'm going to go on the side of 24 just because I feel like that's just what my gut's telling me. I could be wrong. I could extend it to 23. I could narrow it down to 25. Don't spend too much time sweating about the specific age or the specific year, okay? So just for the sake of it, I'm going to go from 24 to, I'll say 35. I'll say 40. Just because this is definitely a first-time home buyer's home is the one that we're talking about as an example. Location. I'm not going to do all of Michigan. You must enter location, obviously, right? So I'm just going to put Holland, Michigan, which is the city that I'm based out of. Now, whatever you start typing in, you'll see it pop up. Maybe I want to do zip codes, 49423, boom, there it is. I think you can sometimes do counties. No, you can't do counties. So cities, states, zip codes. I'm going to do zip code. I'm going to do 49423. Now, you can add multiple locations. I'm going to also add 49424 because that's right north of here. So boom, now I've got 2 zip codes, and just for the sake of it, just to show you a different one, I'm going to add my hometown. So you'll see here, I've got 2 over here on this map, 1 over here. You can add as many locations as you want. Now, you can see here that it says on this bottom bar, your audience selection is too specific for your ads to be shown. Try making it broader. This bar is basically Facebook trying to give you an idea of how specific, how broad your ad is. Now, it is completely a guideline. It is not a rule. 35,000 might be perfect. I'm only trying to target people in my age range-ish where I live and where I have lived. Maybe that's exactly the size that I want to target. I'm going to X out of this, and just for the sake of it, I'm going to add Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is a kind of a metropolitan area around here. And boom, you'll see my audience went to 270,000 people because of how big that is. 2 points here. Like I said, this bar is completely a guideline. You do not have to live and die by it. The next question I get a lot is, what is a good audience size? What is a good number? And that, most of my answers to Facebook questions are always cop-out answers, and this is the same sort of deal. There's no magic number. So the smaller your audience and the more you spend, the more you're going to reach that saturation, right? So if you have an audience of 30,000 people and you spend $30, you probably are going to reach at least 10, 20, 30% of those people. If I have an audience here, like it says, at this point, 270,000 people, that I might reach more people, but a less saturated area. So for the same amount of money, I might reach, 3,000 people versus 2,000, but it's out of a larger pool. So the idea is that the larger the pool, the less targeted your marketing is. Now, depending on what you're trying to advertise, that might be totally okay. Like sometimes having a bigger audience is not bad. This one right now is at 270,000, and we're going to narrow that down in a second. Again, guideline, so don't live and die by this. My guideline is always around, like, if you can keep things around 100,000 people or less, and I know that in the islands you guys probably won't have this issue as much, but 100,000 or less is normally a good point. If you spend $3 on an audience of 100,000 people, that is ineffective. Like that you might as well not boost at all. Okay, so yeah, there's no solid answer. I generally try to keep it 100,000 or less though. So we have now targeted gender, age, and locations. Now we get to the detailed targeting. This is the stuff, this is what sets Facebook apart. Demographics, interests, and behaviors. This is the sort of stuff that people, yeah, I know, Chris, I know you're advertising in the US as well. I'm just saying in general, like, when you hit those bigger cities, you're going to be targeting you'll be hitting a lot of people, but even in Holland, we only have like 30,000 people. So I know you're still targeting the US. So demographics, interests, and behaviors, these are the categories that set Facebook apart. Now, if you watched my video from, I think it was last week, a lot of these categories are going away. You'll see those as we go through. There will be little kind of warning labels next to them that says this ad category is disappearing. It's not the end of the world. There are still plenty of categories, and we don't know how Facebook is going to change this come August when these categories go away. Maybe they're going to add more categories. Maybe they're going to change some of the ones they have and expand them, take more away. We don't know yet. So there's my gut, and I've been wrong before, my gut tells me that Facebook will end up adding more categories down the road to kind of take the place of some of these. But you'll see these. You can still target them for the next 2 months, so if you really want to take advantage of them, go for it. But a lot of these categories will be going away. But not all of them. Only the ones that are basically, the general guideline is like the ones that Facebook is using third-party data to target, those are going away. The ones that are collected through Facebook data, those are staying. So, I always recommend just going in and playing around here. Play around in demographics, interests, behaviors. There are dozens and dozens of categories. Now, the one that we would recommend, house hunting. So if you're doing, interest in house hunting, if you're trying to target people interested in real estate, people who are house hunting is probably a safe bet. Well, some of those categories go away on August 14th, Chris. Some of them, I think it's like you can't target them anymore, but if you have ads running with them, those will sunset on October 1st. But if I go in on October 15th to create a new audience, those categories should not be available to me anymore. So now this verbiage right here is important. It says, include people who match at least one of the following. So the more things you add in this section, it's actually the wider your audience gets. I've had some people think that, like, if they add 30 things in here, then there are going to be 30, they're going to have like a super specific audience, when in fact it's kind of the reverse of that. The more you add, the broader you're going to get. That's not a bad thing. It's just making sure that you have that right mentality. Like the more you add, you're giving more options. So House hunting really narrowed it down from about 270,000 people to less than 1,000. When talking about real estate, one thing that I always love, that I think, again, this is kind of conjecture, that I think is worth targeting is people who are interested in Zillow. Because people who are interested in Zillow are liking things with regards to real estate, looking at homes. They might be interested in a home, and if you show them content related to home, they might see something. They might see something nice there. Since St. Croix is so specific, what keywords would you suggest? So that's exactly what we're going over right now. So I like targeting things like Zillow. I like targeting things like, kind of along those lines, Trulia. Now, when it comes to outside of real estate things, it's going to really depend on the ad. It's going to depend on what you're advertising. So if you have a listing that is on the lakeshore, or I said lakeshore, it is on the water, you could try swimming. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but you could target swimming. You could target boating. If you start doing luxury stuff, you can start going into, and again, you can type things in and see what comes up, or you can click browse and go through their list, demographics, interests, and behaviors. So if I go into demographics, I think a lot of these are the ones that are going away. Financial income, I could say, oh, if this is a luxury listing, I'm going to target people who make, $250 and up. So I'm going to click. Yeah, and you'll see here, this one says your audience contains interests or behaviors and demographics which will no longer be available on our platform soon. So just for the sake of it, I am going to untarget things. Now, one thing that's nice though, you can see this right here. If you are currently, or click on a category that is going to go away, they will give you suggestions for other categories. Now, real estate is also a category too, and I can click replace with that. Real estate is a very fine one to target, but it's a pretty broad one. Just the interest in real estate. So again, might as well, but it is more broad. So yeah, as far as the other detailed things go, it really depends on what you're trying to do. If you have a home that you are targeting, it's in St. Croix, but you are trying to target people in the U.S. because it might be a vacation home, it might be a second home, target those things. Look into vacation. Look into vacation homes, second homes, people who have, this gets into it too. If you go into, I'll just show you instead of telling you to be dumb. If you go into browse demographics, I think there's a job work, and you do industries or job titles, you can add people who have the job title of CEO. Or of president, president of company, or owner of, or anything like that. So again, you start to go, how do I target those high net worth people? Well, there are ways like that to do it. If you're doing a more generic ad, maybe I'm doing some sort of soccer joke with it, because how I am with soccer. If I do like, hey, if it's me scoring a goal, and then I turn around to the camera and say, let me help you achieve your goals of real estate, something silly like that, maybe I'm going to want to target people who are interested in real estate. We have an agent here in Holland who started in April, and he was a former University of Michigan football player and NFL football player. He played for the Baltimore Ravens for a season or two. The first ad he did from his business page was like a group of photos. One of them was him in his U of M gear, one of them was him wearing a U of M polo, and one was his like headshot as a realtor. And the text said, from U of M starter to real estate, to West Michigan realtor, I'm here to help tackle your real estate needs. Right? Pretty basic, but we went in because it was University of Michigan, and we targeted anything related to U of M, people who had attended U of M, people who were interested in University of Michigan football, any of University of Michigan sports, right? That was a very specific example because he had that going for him, the U of M part, but he got, in his first $30 ad, 4 clients in the pipeline. And he got 200 some likes on the post, but 4 clients in the pipeline to work with him this summer. So depending on what your ad is will help determine what you target. Did I miss this, or can you target by household income? Tammy, right now, you can target by household income. The problem is that is one of those categories that is going away in a couple months. So if you click Browse and you click on demographics, financial, it's just a maze here, and then income, you can target household income right here, from categories of 40 to 50,000 all the way up to over 500,000. So I'm speeding things up because I don't know how, but it's already 10:47, and I don't want to keep everybody too much over. But you create your audience. I'm going to say that I'm happy with this audience, right? Boating and swimming, so maybe it's going to be a lakefront home, or maybe it's like an inland lake. We have a lot of inland lakes in West Michigan, so I'm going to click Save. So I have my audience picked. Now I'm going to scroll down, and you'll see right here, run promotions in Messenger, run promotions on Instagram. Facebook will automatically run your ads in their Messenger app and their Instagram app if you want them to, free of charge. It'll target the same audiences as that. If you don't want them to, just uncheck it. But it's one of those things where it's free, it's extra free advertising. So the last part before you add your credit card and boost is budget and duration. How much do you want to spend? How long do you want to boost that for? The only thing that heavily affects how many people you reach is your budget. If I spend $25, like it defaulted to here, if I spend $25 over 2 weeks, or $25 over 7 days, or $25 over 1 day, I'm still going to reach roughly the same amount of people, but the longer I spend it, 7 days versus 1 day, the more spread out it'll be. So you'll see here, if I click duration, I click on 1 day, $25 over 1 day says I'm going to reach 1,800 to 5,700 people. If I do it over 7 days, 280 to 950 people per day. And you'll see here it says you will spend an average of $357 per day. This ad will run for 7 days. So it will spread your budget over those days. And if I don't want 1, 7, or 14, I can just click this little calendar here and pick a date I want it to run until. And then I can change my budget up here. 25, I can make it 50 if I want to. I can make it 10 if I want to. The next, probably the biggest question I get with Facebook ads, and I'd say it's probably the biggest, is how much should I spend? How much money does it cost? Well, that's the answer, is how much does it cost? That's the question I get. How much does it cost? 2 answers there. One, that on a technical level, it is $1 a day minimum. If you're going to do a 30-day ad, you have to spend $30. If you're going to do a 7-day ad, $7. 2 days, $2. You get the point. The real question that I always ask back, though, is, well, how many people do you want to reach? Because the more you spend, the more you reach. It's as simple as that. There's no, the nice thing about Facebook is that it's not like set levels. Like you can spend 10, 50, or 100. It's not like that. It's purely, I have built an audience of about 100,000 people here. For $50 over 1 day, I'm going to reach 3,300 to 10,000 people. For $20, I'm going to reach 1,500 to 4,700 people. So really, the question is, how many of those people do I want to reach? Do I want to spend more to reach more? Do I want to spend less and reach less? I mean, it's pretty basic when you kind of think of it in that way. That's what I was saying earlier, Chris, is I have a feeling Facebook will come up with something to replace certain categories, but I don't know if they're going to do a one-to-one replacement of everything. I don't know if they're going to come up with exact replacements, but I would be surprised if they don't have new categories when the old ones go away, or of some variety. I don't know what that's going to look like, but yeah, that's what my gut tells me. But again, Facebook doesn't tell us. They are keeping it close to their chest, what's going to happen, what their ideas are. So I can't give you a 100% answer either way on that. So yeah, the question, the answer is you spend as much as you want to spend, and that's how many people you're going to reach. $20, 15 to 47. If I want to spend $100, 6,000 to 8,000 people. I have a video coming out pretty soon, probably in the next week or two, where I have a lot of agents who like to do, over the course of a month or two, or of a month, maybe they'll do 10 ads for $3 each. Or that's still not a lot, like $30. So let's say I have a budget of $100. I have some agents that would do 10 ads for $10 each. I have other agents who would maybe do 2 or 3 ads for $30 or $50 each. I would recommend doing the latter. Again, personal opinion, based off of what I've seen and what I've experienced. I would recommend spending more money on better ads than spreading yourself thin over 10 or 15 ads. The reason being is that I think if you spend more money on less ads, that makes those ads, A, more powerful, and B, it makes you think about what you're doing in those ads more. if that makes sense, right? It's really easy for me to come in here, click boost post, $10, 4 days, boost. You know, that literally takes 10 seconds. Click, done, dot, dot, click, done. That's nice because it's easy. There's a low bar of entry to get into Facebook, and the beauty of it is that if you have 5,000 likes on your page and I only have 50, our money goes the same distance. So it's pay to play, which is kind of nice for a new small business, a new agent starting out. But it's also easy enough that it kind of makes you go on autopilot. It's really easy to just go in and then click, 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 boost, and that makes you stop thinking about what you're advertising, right? New listing, pop, pop, boom. Well, was it interesting? Was it powerful? Was there something catchy about it? I don't know. I just kind of boosted it up there. And then you come back and say, well, that Facebook doesn't work because it didn't blah, blah, blah. Well, you didn't do anything interesting. So I would recommend doing, you can post a bunch. And again, this is just my recommendation, but I would always spend more money on fewer ads than less money on more ads, if that makes sense. So I'm going to speed things up here because we're way behind. I'd say behind schedule, whatever. So I pick, I want to spend $50 over 7 days, 7 or 14 days. I would recommend doing things a little bit longer than shorter because, if I do a 3-day ad, well, it's 4th of July coming up here. So like if I'm not on Facebook, if I'm up at the lake for 2 or 3 days and not on Facebook that much, I'm not going to see your ad. So I always like doing slightly longer times, durations is the word I'm looking for, than shorter ones. Account, payment method, boost. So if you've never done an ad before, it's going to ask you for, your PayPal or credit card or however you want to pay. And then you just click boost now. And then it'll go into a review period. And then it will, after it's reviewed, basically Facebook making sure you're not breaking any rules, you'll be golden. You'll go out into the world with your ad will be out. The analytics, you can see, I'm going to skim the analytics really quick. The analytics you would see run under each boosted post. So there'd be a bar right over here that said like 3,000 people reached. Or on your business page, you could go up and click insights or promotions along this top white bar, and you will see those analytics numbers, however you want to phrase it. And then, then you can see how your ad runs. Now, the nice thing about Facebook ads is that, let's say I boosted an ad for $50, a new listing, and then halfway through the listing went under contract. Well, I can go in Facebook and tell them to stop running my ad, and I will only get charged for what they've spent up to that point. It is a budget. It is not so once I give them $50, if I stop it halfway through, I'll only get charged $25 or something like that. Do I ever do Facebook ads with listing to leads, or do you suggest keeping these separate? I love doing Facebook ads with listing to leads, Corinne. I think it is a really, really great and powerful idea, which could be its own webinar. So listing to leads, as far as getting leads on Facebook, is a really, I really like that method, and I've seen a lot of people have some success from it. But we can talk more about that later because I want to show us Ads Manager quick, if that's okay. So, the other way to do ads is Ads Manager. This link, and I wonder if there's a way for me to share it now, but I'll make sure that it goes out in the, under handouts. Can I share it maybe? Drag and drop a file, chat. So I'm going to add something to this chat box, and I'm hoping you guys will be able to see it. If you click on this link that I sent you, it'll bring you to where we are now, and it will help you create a Business Manager and Ads Manager. Now, the overall idea of Business Manager and Ads Manager is that I can go in as a social media consulting firm, as a digital marketing firm, and these small businesses can give me access over their ad account, their business page, and I can run ads for them. Before we go into this, and we're not going to go too in depth. Business Manager and Ads Manager are pretty confusing. It is the back end of Facebook ads. Once you get the hang of it, just like anything, it becomes a lot easier. But it does look very different. It's a lot more confusing. So if you're not too savvy yet, I would stick with doing boosted posts. The main advantage of Ads Manager, and this is why people think that Ads Manager is better than boosted posts, is that you have more options when picking your goal of your ad objective. Short of that, it really is almost the exact same thing. There's like one other thing in Ads Manager you can do that I'll show you. I think Ads Manager, the problem that I have with it is that it's a lot of work for me to do one ad. If I'm just trying to get like a listing out there or like a new video, I have to put a lot of work to get it out there when I could just go Facebook, upload the post, boost post, done, right? So here, it's going to show you how to create one if you've never done one, and it's going to show you how to walk through these steps. But I'm just going to show you what mine looks like, just so that I can show you what Business Manager. So you'll see already we're on a gray Facebook page, right? Gray is just the color of Business Manager. It shows you that you're in the back end. Ad accounts. This is where things get confusing. So an ad account is where I spend money on Facebook. That's kind of, I can have multiple pages under one account, or I can have different accounts for different pages. Things get, annoying like that, if I'm being honest. If I click on this luxury ad account, it's going to show me all of the campaigns that I have running on Ads Manager and the campaigns that I have run before. So this is why it's confusing, right? Because there's a lot of stats, a lot of numbers, big charts. In order for me to create an ad, this is what I have to do. So again, I'm just going to skim over this because this will show you how this works. I have to click on Create, green button right here. Click Create, and then this is the method that I create an ad on Ads Manager. Which is a lot more in depth, right? So it says, choose your objective. This is where people say that Ads Manager really comes through over Boosted Post, because I have all of these options for creating an ad. That being said, traffic is the same as website clicks. Engagement is the same as engagement. So messages is the same as messages. So they're making boosted posts even more powerful than they used to be because you can pick your objectives. But let's say I have a video, right? I wanted to do a video. I'm going to click my goal is video views. Now keep in mind, when you're doing an ad, you want your ad format to match what your goal is. What I mean by this, for example, is we once did I was testing different open house ad formats, trying to find how can we replace across the company our print advertising with Facebook open house ads. What's a good method to do that? I tried a carousel ad, I tried a video ad, I tried just a single image, a bunch of different ads. The video view, when I did a video for open houses, it was just like a generic ad, then at the end, a generic video, then at the end it said, click here to view our open houses. That got a lot of views. The video got thousands of views, but there were so few clicks on the open houses. And when you think about it, if I'm telling people, if my goal is I want people to click and look at open houses on a different website, the ad format of the video was not getting people to click. They were watching the video, but they weren't clicking. Whereas if my ad is a carousel format where it's all sliding and clicking, people are much more likely to click because that's what the ad was created for. So make sure your ad format matches your ad goal. If I'm just doing a general branding video, just like a funny thing that I came up with or an interesting, here's 3 tips on to blah, 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 video views is exactly what I want to do because my goal is getting that video in front of people. So I'm going to click, for the sake of it, I'm going to click traffic. It's going to ask me to give a campaign name, just like everything else, right? So I'll say, just for the sake of it, listings to leads, seller leads. Again, campaign, all this stuff is just for me to see. Ad set. An ad set is where you create your audience and your budget, just like a boosted post. So ad set name, I don't know, just ad set 14, or ad set St. Croix. Now a lot of this is going to be the exact same. I can create a new audience, or I can use a saved audience and pick one of my audiences here. I can do my luxury audience here. Or I can do my luxury digital magazine audience. I don't know why it says 2 million. It shouldn't be that. So I use my saved audience there. Placements. One thing you can do here, the other one is you can edit your placements. So I can say, I don't want this to go in their audience network, and I don't want it to go in Messenger. I would never change any of these things. I would always just click automatic placements. Same thing here as always. What's your budget? What's your schedule? When do you want it to start? When do you want it to end? What time? So again, a bit more in depth. It's the same as the other thing. It's just you're doing a lot more here. You're optimize for ad delivery. Again, there's a bunch of different things that if you want to look more into it, be my guest. But the link clicks, everything that, and this is just a trust thing, right? Everything that Facebook defaults to is a safe bet. Facebook is not trying to screw you over. They want your ads to be successful because the more successful your ads are, the more you do ads on their business page, on their website, on their platform. So I know that a lot of people can oftentimes have a mistrust of Facebook, whether it's because of politics, which is or because of advertising policies or data policies. But when it comes to them wanting your ads to be effective, they want that. They really, truly do. So just keep that in mind. So then I would click continue. And the big difference here now is that now I have to create my ad. I'm not boosting a post, so I don't have an ad created. I have to pick one. Now, if you look up here, that being said, it does say create an ad or use existing post, and I can pick an existing post from my page, but most of the time you're going to create your own ad. So I might do JD, or I might do L2L seller landing page. Format, is it a carousel ad? Is it a single image? Is it a video? Is it a slideshow? Is it a collection, right? Pick your format. If it's a carousel, then you go down here and you create your carousel. What image are you going to put here? What image are you going to put in slide 2? What image are you going to put in slide 3? What link, you can see all this info. What's the headline going to be? So I might go into slide 2 and select the image that I have on my, I already have images in this library. Go to slide 3, select the image and pick this one, just for the sake of it. And now, as I put those images in, you'll see on this preview over here that they are, they're all different, it populates like that. As I go in here and change that, I might change this headline to click here for a home evaluation. I spelled that wrong. Evaluation. Facebook will edit that over here for me on the next one. Then if I go to the second slide, same deal. Whatever I put in is going to edit it for me over there. I can change the URL. I can change the description, everything here. Change the call to action to say request time. There are a couple more call to action options here, but not too many more. Well, actually, I guess there's a few more. Again, learn more is your default. That always works, or works well. So again, you go in and you create your ad as opposed to probably just picking your boosted post, like your post being the ad. So this is the way I would do that. And then what was the last point? Oh yeah, Facebook page, making sure that you're going to the right page. If you have multiple pages on one account, which not a lot of you will have, make sure you pick the right page for it to run to. Schmidt Luxury, Schmidt Fan of Companies, etc. And then once I click confirm, same thing, it'll go into review, and once it's reviewed, it'll be confirmed, and then my boost will be running. The nice thing about this is that, if I do boosted post and I click confirm, it's going to start running as soon as it's reviewed. Whereas here, I can say I want this ad to start on July 1st, and then I want it to run through July 7th. So if it gets confirmed and like today, it's not going to start running until July 1st. And then once you're, in Ads Manager, once you've done a campaign, this is how your screen's going to look. It'll show you your campaign name, the delivery, meaning is it going right now? Has it been completed? Did I delete it? Where is it at? And then it'll show you results. The results that you see will be based off of the campaign goal that you picked. So for example, if I zoom in here, one of these Cadillac lead gen, June 2018, where it's actually a listen to leads thing. Our goal was to try to get clicks on the ad. You'll see here that the results are in link clicks. Beneath that, a home of the week, June 19th, so last week's home of the week. The goal there was video views, so the results are shown in video views. And then reach, and then impressions, so they give you all those stats as you go. And then amount spent, where is it at right now? You'll see here it spent $15 of $50 on this ad. If I don't want to watch this anymore, if I don't want this to run, I can just go over here and slide it over and pause the ad. I'm not going to do that because I want the ad to keep running, but you can control it from there as well. So really the only pros, I'd say, to Ads Manager is that you get a few more options and you have a lot more analytics. But it really is kind of confusing when going in to connect everything, to give permission. There's a lot of setup that happens. Once you've set things up, you're fine, but it takes a while to get there. So I would be, if you're brand new to this stuff, I would not go to Ads Manager yet. If you think you want to take the next step and run 2 or 3 different campaigns and do all that stuff, be my guest and let me know, and we can I can help if you guys need help with that. But we are already 6 minutes over, and I don't want to waste your guys' time. Hopefully this wasn't a waste of time. So as always, if you guys have more questions, let me know. This is going to be recorded or going to be uploaded this afternoon. This maybe before lunch even. I'm here to help. That's literally my job. We are adding next week. We're doing a 4th webinar on video. How to, what to do, why, all that good stuff. So video will be the next and maybe the last webinar on this kind of stuff. But this is Boosted Post and Ads Manager. This is the getting your ads in front of people who are not in your sphere yet. This is the new clients. This is the new people. It can be confusing. So as always, if you have questions, reach out. No one's writing anything in. So unless that's just a thank you, we'll see. Thanks, Chris. I'm glad you think these are great. And I am always more than willing, you guys, to do more webinars on anything that you guys want a class on or anything like that. Let me know, because this is what I'm here to do. I want to support you guys as much as possible. So tell me what you guys want, and we'll work out a way to do it. If you need anything marketing related, that's what our team is here for. If you new logos, new flyers, anything print, anything digital, that's what you've got a whole marketing team here. So always reach out to myself or anybody. Melissa, Jody, Max, Laura, Mike, Jamie, Elizabeth, again, Michelle, names go on and on. We're all here to help you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week. Go watch some World Cup teams today. Bye.